So many years in the 1970s, he was considered the most popular rustic actor in America because of his performances in the life and times of Grizzly Adams. And a lot of people call him by his work name, but rarely call him his real name, Dan Haggerty. Now, Daniel Francis Haggerty was an American actor, again, best known for playing the title role in the film and TV series The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams. Now, born in Pound, Wisconsin, his parents separated when he was 3. He ran away from military school several times and eventually lived with his father in Burbank, California. Now, when Haggerty was cast in a small non-speaking role as a bodybuilder in the 1964 film Muscle Beach Party, and also a bodybuilder in the 1965 romantic comedy musical Girl Happy, he drew interest from both men and women. He also worked as a stuntman in the 1966 TV series Tarzan, as well as a set builder on various other projects. More stunt work followed, as well as supporting roles in numerous low-budget biker and wildlife films of the era, such as Angels Die Hard, The Adventures of Frontier Fremont, and Terror Out of the Sky. He can be seen in a passing glance as a background player, as a hippie and easy rider. He also assisted in building the motorcycles featured in the film. The experience in animals also brought him work as an animal trainer and handler in films produced by Walt Disney. Haggerty directed White Tigers, Wolverines, Eagles, and Wild Boar in the 1974 feature film When the North Wind Blows for Sun Classic Pictures, which also produced The Life and Times of Grizzly Adams, a wildly popular film released in the same year, when he portrayed the title character Grizzly Adams. From the latter film evolved the NBC TV series of the same name, which ran from 1977-1978, and Haggerty became known to moviegoers for his portrayal of the nature-loving James Capen Grizzly Adams. Now, he eventually starred in the TV film Condominium, which also starred Barbara Eden, Ralph Bellamy, and of all people, Stuart Whitman. Haggerty played a hydrology expert trying to warn residents that their Florida condos were about to be demolished in an approaching hurricane. In 1981, he appeared in an episode of Charlie's Angels called Waikiki Angels as Bo Thompson. He guest starred as Sawdust Riddell in The Love Boat in 1983, The World's Greatest Kisser. That year, he also appeared briefly in David Carradine's 1983 film Americana and provided a fighting dog for the production. In the film, he not only played the role of a dog's trainer, but has also assisted in set design and a restoration of a broken-down carousel, which figured prominently in the film. They eventually made a cameo appearance as an attorney in Terror Night with John Ireland and Cameron Mitchell, starred in Night Wars as a Vietnam veteran who was a psychologist dealing with nightmares of his fellow veterans. He also appeared in low-budget horror cult classics such as Elves and Linda Blair's film The Chilling in 1989. He starred in the 1989 film Spirit of the Eagle, where he played lead roles in the film Repo Jack, and in 1997 played himself in a film titled Motorcycle Cheerleading Mamas. Though not much is known about the film, Motorcycle Cheerleading Mamas, one of the last movies he ever shot at historical Iverson Movie Ranch in Cal. Now, in 1995's Grizzly Mountain, he starred as a modern-day version of Grizzly Adams and worked with bears, foxes, and hawks in the film. He reprised his role in Escape to Grizzly Mountain. Haggerty was also featured a character in Al Franken's political satire novel, Why Not Me? Now, he continued to work as both an actor and infomercial spokesperson. One of his endorsements was for a Papillon magnetic inductor, a device alleged to have health benefits. He had only been hired as a spokesperson and was found not to be part of the fraud that was later embroiled the manufacturer. In Big Stand, he played Tubby and appeared as a lumberjack foreman in Axe Giant, The Wrath of Paul Bunyan. He also performed several voiceovers, also seen in music videos by Hank Williams Jr. and Rogues of the Empire. Haggerty appeared on the U.S. TV show American Pickers in an episode called California Custom, which aired on History on February 25th, 2013. Now, Haggerty eventually married Diane Rooker in 1959 at a Las Vegas wedding chapel in the Silver Slipper Hotel when they were 17. The couple had 2 daughters, Tracy and Tammy. They divorced in 1984, after which Haggerty married Samantha Hilton. So there was allegations that Ruth Buzzy was kind of sweet on him a little bit, and the famous Dean Martin roast, where Ruth Buzzy allegedly, when he was being roasted, hit him 475 times, give or take. But there was no rumor that he was dating Ruth Buzzy. Haggerty and Hilton had 2 sons, Dylan and Cody, and 1 daughter, Megan. They were married until Hilton's death following a motorcycle accident in 2008. Now, Haggerty lived on a small ranch in Malibu with an assortment of wild animals that he tamed at birth or rescued from injury. At a restaurant in 1977, a patron with a flaming cocktail set Haggerty's beard on fire. As he attempted to put out the flames, Haggerty received third-degree burns on his arms. Production on the Life and Times of Grizzly Adams TV series was halted while Haggerty recovered. In 1991, he was hospitalized after a motorcycle accident left him in a coma. And in a very strange turn of events, Haggerty received a jail sentence of 90 days. He was looking at a hard time and 3 years probation after being convicted of selling cocaine to an undercover police officer. Now that made National Enquirer. Now in August 2015, he was diagnosed with spinal cancer after a tumor was discovered to him back surgery. He died of it on January 15, 2016 in Burbank. So key roles, again, a lot of B roles, but Easy Rider, sure. Life and Times Grizzly Adams came out in 74. The Adventure of Frontier Fremont. Grizzly Adams, Once Upon a Starry Night in 78. The Capture Grizzly Adams in 82. And a lot of B roles. And he was also in The Book of Ruth, Journey of Fate, very underrated movie. And he was in Puss in Boots in 99. Now awards. People's Choice Award winner, 1980, Best Actor. Most Popular Actor. Awarded the Harley Davidson Humanitarian of the Year Award, 86, right after the cocaine bust. Sorry about that. I'm getting my years wrong. Yes, it was after cocaine bust. Received a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 94. Awarded a star in Canib, Utah's Hollywood West in 2009. Awarded the Dove Foundation, the Christian group, Diamond Seal of Approval for more than 1 million family videos sold. And it was awarded the Paul Harris Fellowship from Rotary of Rotary International, a very prestigious award. My good friend Jim Dunville got it before he passed away just recently in the Woodstock region. So Dan Haggerty, whether you loved his show or not, what a life and career. Stuntman, set designer. To say he was a sex symbol would be an overstatement, because he would wear, not say Indian regalia, but Old West regalia. But he went his own path, and he was a Christian performer as well, like when the Dove recognized you. But he took a lot of B roles. But like I said, of the 1970s, of course, we had BJ and the Bear. We had $6 Million Man, Charlie's Angels. He was part of that Incredible Hulk, that what he called the popular TV phase, like the mindless TV. Because no matter what Grizzly Adams, you weren't going to see any shootouts, or you weren't going to see any drugs, even though Haggerty got caught for drugs later on. Very clean entertainment. But if you can find a Dean Martin roast of Dan Haggerty, when they're the different jokes, but the Root Buzzy attack is probably the funniest thing I've ever seen that Laugh-In alumni do. And at the time, I think she was in her early years to the marriage of that beautiful blonde actor. I forget who he is. Root passed away recently of a long-time illness. I want to dedicate this podcast to the unknown comic Murray Langston, because he was good friends with Root Buzzy. And Root Buzzy and Dan Haggerty had a moment that we will on TV will always remember. And every time I think of a grizzly bear, I'm thinking of Dan Haggerty. He was sort of like an environmentalist that wasn't an environmentalist. But he loved animals, he loved the world, and like I said, made a few mistakes in his life, but we all do. And but you couldn't do Grizzly Adams in 2025. There'd be too many. It's like Any Which Way But Loose by Eastwood. You can't use animals in this way. So Dan Haggerty, well missed. I'm sorry I didn't do a podcast with him before, but again, he came up on my feed the other day, and I wanted to recognize what a great talent he was. Thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. If you like what we're doing here with our TV and movie podcast, let us know with a like, comment, subscribe, or share.